He's the voiceover studio engineer of the Stars in Los Angeles, California, a Virginia Tech grad with a knowledge of recording studios unmatched in his field. He's a voice actor from Buffalo, New York, with 30 years experience in recording studios and behind the mic. He solves people's home voiceover studio problems in the blink of an eye. Together, there's no studio problem they can't solve, and they'll do it for you tonight. Welcome to East West Audio Body Shop. Now, live from a basement in Buffalo and an office in LA, here are Dan Leonard and George Whittam.
Thank you, Dave Quavassier, and good evening to the world. Welcome to East West Audio Body Shop. I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East West Audio Body Shop. Did we get that one? Yeah, it sounded good. Have I caught up yet?
You have to trust me. You have to trust me on it.
I do trust you on that. Well. We have a great show for you tonight. Well, when do we don't? But no, our guest tonight is Bill Holmes, the voiceover doctor. And I don't know what on earth we're going to talk about. We figured, well, we'll figure something out. All I know is I got to get the shaker out. We have to make mojitos or something. And
yeah, we know that much.
We know that much about Bill. Now Bill's a coach and a voice talent in Hollywood. And he's got some great classes, and he's going to tell us about how he does his teaching, and of course talk about his mojito training special.
That's right,
or whatever it's called. Well, we'll find out.
He finds that libations helps the training go smoother.
It would probably help the show go smoother too. So
I think one of these days we're going to have a quote unquote drinking show.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
And I didn't drink had a wonderful dinner tonight. My mom's in town. Yeah, I get to see my mom an awful lot.
That's great.
Yeah, but we went to this great restaurant here. Best filet I have ever had.
Filet of tofu?
No. Filet mignon with the artichoke and Asiago topping on it.
Ooh.
Fabulous.
Nice.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So, and my mom liked it too. And she's had a very nice visit. It's been a pleasure having her here. But, oh God, is it busy around here. 4 books in the queue. We got to get those done.
What are they? Or can you tell us?
Oh, I can tell you. One's on management, which is coming in handy. One is on a photography book that I've been, stuff that I've been doing all along.
Yeah. And
then there's one on reconstruction. It's a historical book. And then there's one on, it's this one. Yeah. I actually have to read this one. This is, how our good friend Rob Siglampagli has, voiceover legal.
Yeah.
Well, this one is.
Oh, wow.
Legal handbook for photographers.
Geez, my wife really could use that right about now because she's seriously getting into licensing of images.
Well, that's in this book.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
I'll read it to her. Yeah.
That'd be really, really nice of you.
Oh, I really would.
She's
she'll
usually
have to call an awful lot of nights.
Yeah, I was going to say she's usually available between about 9 and 11 at night, which is kind of late for you, though.
That's true.
Or she'll just buy the book when it's finished.
Yes. Well, we have a crowd of people watching us tonight, and we're going to have a good time, as we always do, barring any disaster that might come our way.
Expecting any disaster.
We expect them. If nothing happens, well, we planned it that way.
Precisely.
Anyway, we're going to talk. You've got some stuff about remote access to your computer from your iPhone or whatever, and I'm going to talk about pop filters because I've been fascinating the last couple of weeks. The stuff that I've encountered with pop filters, and then Bill's going to be with us, and we've got viewer mail. We've got a video of somebody's studio, which I'm dying to see.
Yeah, we do.
And gee, I don't know what is a better way to spend your Sunday night?
Absolutely. We've got all sorts of stuff going on. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to get Hawaiian music because Pat is in Hawaii and he's watching us from Maui. He is. Yeah. Past the Mai Tais.
And if anybody out there knows of an ISDN studio on Maui, let him know because he's looking for one. The irony. You know what they say? If you want to book work, book a vacation.
That's right.
That's what you got to do.
I know. I do my best work at 38,000 feet for some reason. I'm not quite sure why that is. Anyway, let's get into the meat of the matter, which is your voiceover studio and the technology that makes it happen, that changes on a daily basis, it seems.
Sometimes I'm always keeping my eyes peeled to the forums and the tech blogs and looking out for stuff that would be worthwhile telling you guys about. And, you know, there's a lot of things that are always the same: a good microphone, good acoustics, quiet room, and good talent. You know, those are constant. And really, if you have those four things, you know, squared away pretty well, you know, most of the things are taken care of. But there's always little helpers, little productivity things, little, you know, things that you can do to improve your workflow. That's a word I use a lot. I know using the word work for anything is you know, makes it sound like a drag, but workflow,
it is a job. Come on,
it is a job. Yeah, it is a job. So, you know, workflow is what I call anything that's going to improve your productivity to get, you know, finish what you need to do. And, you know, a lot of you guys and girls out there are doing book narrations, or you're doing long form narrations, or projects where you have to start and stop a heck of a lot, or make a lot of markers, or something where you can't just like hit record and, you know, walk into your closet or your booth and record. You know, you have to kind of be a little bit more connected to your computer than a lot of other kinds of short forms of voiceover. And for that reason, you might want to have a way to actually remote control your computer. Some of you may already have a monitor, keyboard, and mouse rigged up, and if you do, that's perfect. Yeah. Dan, show me that again.
No. We'll save it for later.
Show it just later. The ability to remote control the computer. Classically, I've always said, just get a keyboard, monitor, and mouse. Hook it to the second video port of your computer. And most every computer has that ability, and you're set. But maybe it's impractical. Maybe you don't have enough space in your closet, or the added heat of the other monitor. Whatever the reason is, it may just be a little too clunky to do that for you. And if that's the case, then your iPhone or your smartphone, whether it's running Android, like this phone's an Android phone here, or an iPod Touch or iPhone, like this guy, these things can be used to control your computer remotely. And the technology behind it is something called VNC, or Video Network Controller, I think. I think that's what it's called. But I don't know what ISDN stands for either, so don't ask me. But VNC is a way to control another computer. It's just a buzzword. But there's all sorts of technologies out there that let you do this. And so you don't have to be a geek and understand what VNC is and what it means and how to set it up. There's utilities and programs out there that make this really easy. One that I've used for actually quite a few years now is called LogMeIn, or logmein.com. And they have a totally free version that you can install on your own computer. And then you can install a little application on your phone and control the computer remotely. So why would you want to do this? Well, the cool thing about having remote access in your, say you're recording long form, or you're recording in a book narration or something, you want to make markers, or you want to have some sort of way to maybe even take a glance and make sure that the thing is actually still rolling. That's kind of a nice thing to check sometimes, especially you Pro Tools people. Man, that thing has a propensity to like just give you an error message mid-session, and unless you're keeping an eye out, you're not recording. So the nice thing is you could have a little window of your computer on your phone, and you could just have, say, maybe just the transport control, or a little section of the window showing that this thing is actually recording. And so you'd have a little visual reference, and, you know, each time you do a page change, or maybe when you lick your finger, or whatever the routine is that you do, or take a shot of, that spray, you know, to wet your mouth, whatever it is, you could take a glance down and say, yep, I'm still rolling. Mm-hmm. What's that stuff called that you use?
Alkalol.
Oh, alkalol. Yeah. Whatever the helper spray is. Some people do it page by page. Some people do it by chapter, whatever. But when you take a break, you can look down at your phone or your iPad or whatever and say, oh, I am still rolling and everything's okay. But if some of you like actually putting markers in the recording, so you have like divisions where you want to start and stop, That's something you can do by phone as well. You can reach down on your phone, click on the marker button, and lay down a marker. So not only can you do this, but the thing is, not only can you do this, across the room or across your house, this can actually be done across the world because these systems work over the internet. So, it's a very flexible tool. If you're on the road and you leave your computer up and running while you're out of town for a week or a month, if you're that lucky, with a program like this, you could always go, log to your computer at home, find a file you're missing, or maybe somebody somebody said, I lost your invoice, and you don't want to wait a month to get paid or something. You can go onto your computer at home, browse for the file, and email it to them over the computer from remotely, but from home. It's also great if you're like kind of, a little bit security conscious. That being on a public internet connection or a shared internet connection is probably the least possible secure way to, say, do banking or anything sensitive. So if you were to browse the web over your phone, but remotely over your computer at home, it's so much more secure. So for those that are concerned about that, this is a way to browse the internet securely via your home, but remotely. And the last thing is, if you're in other countries that block content, let's say you're in China or different parts of the world where you can't even get to YouTube or certain parts of the internet at all, this is another way you can get to content that would be blocked otherwise, because you're only looking at your computer at home and you have a private connection to your computer sitting at home. And now you can get to that content that normally would be impossible. So there's some of the reasons why you might want to try something like this out.
Yeah, now, Andy Barnett's asking, is WinVNC still around? He says he's remembering that from about 10 years ago.
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I haven't actively set up a VNC thing on a Windows machine for a couple of years now. I did it for my wife when she was doing photo teching or digital teching on photo shoots. We had to have another monitor sitting in the talent or the, not the talent area, but the client area. Right. So the area where, the ad rep or the, whoever from Coca-Cola, was sitting and watching the shoot. But that could be 50 to 100 feet away from the set in a really, really big stage or studio. So we just used an iMac and used an Ethernet cable, which you can get 100 feet plus cables, and used a tool like this to show what she was doing on another screen. So that was really slick. So they could be way far away and totally out of our way, and watch over our shoulders without actually watching over your shoulders. So that was pretty cool. Any other questions pop up about this stuff? Or are you guys all thoroughly bored? Oh, Anthony mentioned Splash Desktop or Splash Top. Yeah, that's like if you buy that one right now, I just found it on the iTunes store. It's $2. I mean, that is cheap. Wow. So you can get a Splash Top. I think it's just called Splash Top for the iOS devices for $2 right now. It's on sale. So give it a try.
Yeah, I remember there was something called Remote Air or something like that for iPhone and iPad, so you could access it. It just totally screwed up my OS, so I don't need this.
You do have to be careful. I mean, these things that remote your computer do kind of have to be kind of wired in pretty deeply to do what they do. So I have heard of one recent issue with somebody on an older Windows computer using Splash Top or something on an iPad, which I thought was so ironic. She has this old Windows PC and this brand new iPad, and all she's using the iPad for is to remote the PC. But that was her workflow, and it was actually causing glitches. She was actually getting dropouts in the audio because when she was being remote controlled, all of a sudden her CPU usage, which was maybe 20%, leaped up to 100% because this remote controlling tool use so much power on the computer.
Wow.
So keep an eye out for that stuff.
Yeah, sort of like this show every week.
Yeah.
Just using Skype.
I'm looking at my screen, and I'm using about 3/4 of all CPUs right now to do the show. So,
well, that's not. It used to be 120%. So.
Sometimes, yeah, it was like 150%, whatever that means.
Yeah, really. It's just like they designed it with overkill architecture, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I mean, I thought about that. Well, if you're like recording in a remote part of the house or something like that, that's probably an interesting way to go about that.
Yeah, like let's say you have to run a mic cable down the hall into the clothing closet.
That's true. That's true.
And just being that far away from the computer, not knowing if you're rolling. For me, I would want to just be able to peek over at something to say, "Yep, I'm still rolling."
You got to trust your stuff. Trust it. It's there.
It's just it's an old habit from the days of DAT tape backup.
Yeah,
I had quite a few clients, because they were using Pro Tools. They had a DAT machine running behind, in the background, just to have a backup, just in case that session got lost. Yeah. So we with things like Twisted Wave that do auto backups and stuff and do crash recovery, and it's so much less less of a problem than it used to be.
We've come so far.
We sure have.
Yeah. Well, by the way, and that's fascinating stuff. What's even more fascinating is if you want an East West Audio Body Shop T-shirt or a coffee mug, or what else do we have? We've got the mouse pads. We've got the laptop covers,
iPad sleeve,
the iPad sleeve. We got all sorts of stuff. I think we got some new stuff coming out too.
I think there's a onesie. Anybody expecting? There's sizes up to like 3XL, I think. But I'm always looking for new cool ideas for swag. So if anybody sees something out there that says, it'd be really cool if you guys had these things. I know we had a request recently for shot glasses or wine glasses. I'm working on that. Our current store doesn't have glassware, so maybe we have to find a new store that has more of that kind of fun stuff on it. So
yeah, that's true.
Stay tuned. But there's a lot of good stuff on there.
What's the address for that? If they want to buy wonderful East West Audio Body Shop merchandise.
Well, it's shop.ewabs.com, or you can get to it right from our website, ewabs.com, and it's up at the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and it says EWABS Shop.
Right.
So that's a little way you can help us out. Each purchase, we get a little tiny slice of that. But it's something, that gets you a little something fun, a little memento for the show, and helps us keep going.
Those coffee mugs are so popular. People treat them like the Stanley Cup. Every morning I have my coffee. I just raise it over my head, and I'm like, yes, I have my East West Audio Body Shop coffee mug.
I think the travel mug is the coolest one of all, personally. This is the travel mug, and it's stainless steel. And I think
that's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I think it's built really well.
Yeah.
So check it out, everybody.
All right. Yeah. We got lots more fun stuff coming up here. It is great having you with us. It's great having Pat Sweeney all the way from Maui, the lucky son of a gun.
And it's the middle of the day there. So he should be outside with his family, but he's watching us instead.
Out on the beach, surfing, and looking at the statue of Duke Kahanamoku and all that stuff.
Dedicated fan he is.
Yes, he is. Pat, we love you.
Thanks, Pat.
All right. Well, we'll be back. We've got my tip of the week coming up, and our special guest, Bill Holmes, the voiceover doctor, will be with us in just a little bit. So stay right where you are. We'll be right back.
ElDorado Recording Services.
Randy Thomas chiming in.
This is Alex Verdi.
Hi, this is Bill Ratner in Los Angeles.
Hi, this is Scott Rummel here in Yorba Linda, California.
Hi, my name is Rick Wasserman.
Hi, this is Tom Kane.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Marshall.
Hi, my name is Zurich.
Hi, I'm Mary McKittrick.
Hi, I'm Peter McHugh.
I was turned on to George by none other than Don LaFontaine, who always swore by his health.
George is absolutely awesome.
ISDN, Source Connect, Phone Patch, FTP, you name it, George has set it up.
It's really the best thing I've ever done for myself. I feel free, safe, fearless, like anything is possible in here.
Unless you like to look for opportunities to waste time, call George.
And he did all of that, long distance over the phone and the internet.
I'm very happy with George, and I cherish
I've got my travel kit, I got my Source Connect, I've got it all going on, thanks to you.
Thanks, George. You make it easy.
Voice Over Xtra, the voiceover industry's online news, education, and resource center 24/7. Hundreds, probably thousands of free how-to articles for voiceover success, ranging from home studio to voice acting to business. A free voiceover industry directory, calendar of industry events, resource links, a store, and much more. Bi-monthly webinars on all topics of voiceover, free subscriptions to newsletters, reports, announcements, daily news, and features at voiceoverxtra.com.
This is East West Audio Body Shop with Dan Leonard in the East and George Whittam in the West. Now back to Dan and George.
All right, and we are back here at East West Audio Body Shop. You know, it's fun, you know, being all the way on the other side of the country and being able to do this show but Pat's out there, and I keep obsessing about Pat sitting on his balcony in Hawaii, and he's probably just enjoying every second of this. He's probably calling all the family, "Hey, they're talking about me."
Exactly. Well, we just heard that Ernest Borgnine passed.
Evil.
Yeah.
Oh, for those. Oh, yeah. So now most people just, you know, a lot of young kids, they just remember him as being Mermaid Man.
Right.
But and you know, but people forget McHale's Navy and, you know, some of the great stuff that he did. He was definitely a unique talent.
Yeah, and he was you know, what's great is he was working right up to the end, you know, because we all saw that picture of him at Mark Grau's studio just this past week, you know, so we know he was out there working.
Yep.
But you know what they say too, that when you work through a retirement age and beyond, it extends your life.
And apparently it did.
Totally. So
that's it. I'm never retiring.
I think he's in his, what was he, 94, 95?
95.
I mean, he was 95.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Jeez.
Go Ernie. Go Ernie.
Well, rest in peace, and we'll keep watching.
That's right.
Anyway, it's time to move on to the tip of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting one this week. You know, I have to come up with these things, but you guys give me this stuff because it's the questions I get, and you know, in dealing with people in sessions and, you know, working with their home studios, and I find this interesting thing that happens. So why don't we roll this and we can talk about it a little bit afterwards?
You got it. Here we go.
Hi, do you use a pop filter? You should.
Just not one like this one. This is not a pop filter. It's what its name implies. It's a windscreen. Reporters use them on the street for radio and TV, especially the Weather Channel.
Seeing as most of you are in a closet or your office, that would seem to be a major faux pas. Look, they may stop the horrible pee popping a little bit, but they also stop your voice from properly getting anywhere near your microphone's transducer.
I've worked with a bunch of people in the last few weeks who were wondering why their voice was muffled. Well, I found out with a quick look that they were using a windscreen. Well, what you should be using is a proper pop filter. One of these guys. The purpose of a pop filter is pretty obvious. It's to stop from popping peas. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. There's a bunch of types. You've got your metal, mesh, and nylon.
What's the best? Well, depending on how breathy you are, they all work somewhat.
Most experts agree that the metal grid ones are not the best, followed by metal mesh and nylon. You can actually buy one of these. It's a clip-on. Works really well. Or you can be a little bit more creative and perhaps take yours or maybe your spouse's old pantyhose and that obsolete UHF antenna you used to use. These work great. Or you build your own with some wire, like the one I use for my Epigee mic here. However, proper use of your microphone and proper placement are the proper way to prevent pee popping. The fact is you don't talk directly into your mic. Look at any professional studio. Do they throw the mic directly in front of your mouth? The proper use of a mic is about 7 to 12 inches away, with about 3 inches between the pop screen and the microphone. However, you know, if you set up your mic right, you shouldn't have to even need a pop filter. Proper placement will prevent popping and present a particularly perfect performance. And that's my tip of the week.
Bravo.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, it's been, you know, now there are some folks I know who live in a certain city that I won't mention, but you're from there originally, but who apparently have been coached into that's a pop filter. It's not a pop filter, guys. It's a windscreen. Mm-hmm. And they were totally muffled, and I figured this is a good time to maybe discuss that. And I think maybe people don't really understand that's, you know, what a pop screen is for. They're really for if you're being very, very intense, or if you have to do something that's fairly close to mic'd. But as you can see, you know, like, you know, I got Frank and Mike here, you know, and I'm not popping on him at all because I don't talk directly into, well, in this case, the ribbon. But right. You know,
ribbons are really plosive sensitive, aren't they?
Oh, well, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Actually, not too bad.
I've got a little bit of a windscreen in there.
There's a little something in there.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, the windscreen microphones, even though they're designed to pick up what's right in front of them, they still do pick up audio in all 360 degrees all the way around in a sphere, right. And that's why windscreens are, you know, fit over the whole mic. Sometimes you even see one sometimes affectionately called a dead cat, you know, which looks like the fur of a cat, you know, because the furrier and crazier it is, the more wind it stops. Yeah. But it definitely muffles the sound. So it's a Band-Aid and really is only really meant to be used for outdoor use when you need to knock down the wind.
And they make great fly swatters too.
Yeah, right. They also can be used to just keep crap from hitting the mic. So if you like that, if you like the idea that there's something between your mouth and, you know, lunch and the diaphragm of the mic, having a pop screen is not a bad idea. With the one I have, it's not doing a whole lot because I'm speaking over the microphone.
Right.
And when I look down at it once in a while, I go, ooh. Because it's got, like, you know, whatever landing on the screen, but, you know, it's not getting in the mic. So
can you imagine what it was like in the days when, you know, these announcers are like, and they're blowing smoke into these things. You know, if you ever looked at an old an RCA 77DX, you know, those capsule shaped microphones.
Yeah.
And you know, you look at the you know, this what they call the silks that are in there,
right.
And they're all tobacco stained. I mean, it was just so.
That was amazing.
The thing is you don't talk directly into the diaphragm of the microphone. You talk underneath it or over the top of it, but not into the diaphragm, and that's how you prevent popping peas.
So. Roy made a good point. If you do have a mic that happens to be too bright for your particular voice, like some Rode NT1's kind of bright, and the Studio Projects that he mentioned, C1, they can be a little bit bright. So in those cases, sometimes there might be a benefit from pop screens or wind screens.
It's a tool in your toolkit.
That's right.
You know, along with having maybe a couple of different types of microphones for different types of things.
Yeah. Yeah. You can get creative with it. But the bottom line is what sounds good is good. So don't have a stigma attached to one technique or another, you know, metal versus fabric. And there's a jillion different designs out there right now. And geeky engineer types will tell you, well, this one's more transparent than another and da-da-da. But, you know, don't get caught up in it too much. Experiment, and if in doubt, send a sample of your audio with and without the pop screen to somebody else like Dan and I to take a listen, and we'll tell you whether it's helping you or hurting you.
That's right.
And then
it's amazing, though, what you can do with this stuff.
We know what Dan will be doing tonight. Okay.
Yes. That's why I said yours or your spouse's. Right. I made no gender reference at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, enough of this. But we've got more fun coming up because we've got our special guest, Bill Holmes, will be with us, the Voice Over Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to explain what that means. You'll have to talk to us about that.
And
yeah, that's right. And we've got more stuff coming up. And so far, we are having just a great time, as we always are every Sunday night. And What else? We actually hired a producer, didn't we?
We did. We did. We have a producer helping us out with the show now, and I'm so glad we have somebody helping us booking.
It was amazing. You know, what do I always complain? What do we need with the show? Staff.
Right.
Now we have a staffer.
We have Catherine Curridon
out of San Diego, and a wonderful lady.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. The reason we'll have some
nuts, Kathy. Jeez.
The reason we're going to have great guests actually show up each week from now on is because of her. So thank you so much for helping us out. You are the best.
Yes, that will save a lot of late phone calls on Saturday night. Hey, you want to be on the show?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, Roy. Yeah, Roy knows that. Roy knows that one. Anyway,
don't give it all away.
Now we're not desperate. There's people who want to be on the show. It's sometimes we get lazy about it.
We just have to find them.
That's right. You know. Anyway, we'll be right back with Bill Holmes, and you know, if you got questions for him, of course, we love getting those from you.
Yes.
And so we'll be right back. So stay right where you are here on East West Audio Body Shop.
This is East West Audio Body Shop with Dan Leonard in the East and George Whittam in the West. Two guys I love spending Sunday nights with.
Here we are.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, we're here. We're back. And we're all prepared for our guest, Bill Holmes. I got my mojitos right here.
I got my shot right here. So
all right. So
let's all pretend that this is some liquid libation.
Yeah.
You can pretend all you want.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Salute.
Bill Holmes.
Your shot glasses there, George. I got the voiceover doctor shot.
I know. We got to catch up, man. We got to class up on the merch.
That's right. Well, we are blinded by your stardom, Bill, and we're not worthy, but we're glad to have you here on East West Audio Body Shop. Welcome.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here, and I'm embracing the technology. You know, I'm an old guy, and I don't know a lot about technology, even though I'm in this business. But and by the way, nice glasses. Love.
Oh yeah. Oh, you like these?
Do you know where we got those, by the chance?
I think I do. I think I
what does that say on there?
Yeah, see, that was for all the kids at Disneyland. See, I like that.
We both had swag, the only good swag in the whole voice conference, and both of us had swag based on, you know, eyesight, on seeing, which I think is kind of funny. You had the sunglasses, and we had the magnifying
glass.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. I'm using that now too. At the age I'm at now.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, it's great having you on the show, Bill. And you are a legend in your own time. And
in my own mind, at least. Yeah.
That's true. Well, there's the first standard question that we ask every guest who is, you know, a great voice artist and an inspiration to us all, and that is, everybody, how did you get your start in voiceover?
Okay. Well, I started as a young 19-year-old actor in Chicago, Illinois. I'm from Chicago. And,
like our town.
Oh, that's right. And I was doing a lot of on-camera stuff, a lot of theater, a lot of musical theater, things like that. And I walked into a woman's office. Her name was Linda Jack. At the time, I was with Amelia Lawrence, for all of you kids from Chicago who might know who that is. And Linda was the voiceover agent. And I said, hey, I want to do this voiceover thing. I want to do that. And she said promptly, well, why don't you go get like an acting job first? And then come back to me and maybe we'll try the voiceover thing. And so a year later, it took me a year, but I got some industrial films, and I went back into her office and I said, okay, I booked the job. Now I want to do this voiceover thing. And she kind of said, all right, go to this studio and audition for this. And I auditioned and I booked it. And I auditioned for the next one and I booked it. And then she said, okay, well, I guess you should get a tape and we can do this. So that's how I got started. Back in Chicago.
Yeah. Did you ever do any radio?
I've never done radio. No. I'm friends with Brian Phelps, who's Mark and Brian here in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
Never did any radio. I just didn't see a future in it.
No, I didn't either. I was still there. Lucky you. But anyway, so you were in Chicago. When did you come out to the coast?
I came out here in 1986. I came out here, and I was, through a whole bunch of different things. I was fortunate enough to get a part-time job as a booth director at a place called the Voice Caster out here in Los Angeles. It's one of the biggest voice casting houses in the country, actually. And so, I was making, $6 to $8 an hour just directing people and doing that. And I liked it. I was mainly doing it for the $6 an hour because I lived around the corner. And but I found that becoming a director along with acting, it made me a better actor. It made me a better voice actor. And so I kept doing that. And then I started teaching with a woman named Kat Lehman. Kat used to have a series of workshops out here in Los Angeles years ago. And she hired me as a teacher, and that's how I started teaching. So I've been teaching and directing for about 15 years now. And, I taught with Kat for about like 2 or 3 years, and then I just kind of went off on my own when she kind of stopped doing some of the workshops. And that's how I developed my style of teaching was through her. I actually, working at the Voice Caster was a real nice thing because we were allowed to use the studio for free if we wanted to teach on our own.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
And I used to actually teach for free for the first year that I taught. I would just get friends together and we put a workout group together, and I would always direct it and teach it. And so for 1 year solid, I just kind of developed the system that I teach now. And then people started saying, hey, well, you seem to be pretty good at this. I'll give you money for this. And I was like, really?
Really?
that never sucks.
I mean, this is great, So over the years, it's been very nice that people give me money for my teaching efforts and my demo making efforts and whatnot.
And are you still directing a lot?
I do. The only casting director I work with out here now is a woman. Her name is Lisa Dyson at Sight and Sound Casting, and she actually used to run the Voice Caster back when Bob Lloyd owned it. Mm-hmm. And she has her own company now. So she and I, we're just real good friends. So I mainly do it as a favor to her because I am busy doing other things. I primarily these days I produce and direct films and television projects and things like that. So, but I've always kept my hand in the voiceover market because, one, I love the people. I mean, all the people out there that are, texting you guys and IMing you guys and all that stuff, I know a lot of them, and I've been teaching around the country for years, and I just love doing it. And I still do voiceovers because I really feel that the voiceover market, you have to have talent in order to make a living at it. Whereas, commercials, you can look a certain way and you can be a lousy actor, but you can make money at commercials. So I had a very nice commercial career over the years, but I kind of stopped doing that mainly so I could get on to directing more things. And but the voiceover thing, you know, I mean, you go into a booth for an hour and you make a lot of money and you walk out. So it's a nice way to make a living. You know, it's if you can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, directing is probably, you know, we're all very self-directed, you know, in, you know, a lot of, because we talk primarily about home voiceover studios and we're isolated and, you know, and we don't get direction a whole lot, unless, of course, you're doing a lot of national spots. And whenever you're doing ISDN or Source Connect or you're doing something remote, there's somebody on the other end. You never know what this guy is thinking or this gal is thinking. What are you guys thinking when you're...
Are you asking me from a directing standpoint?
Yeah, that was the direction I was aiming there.
Okay. Well, for me, you know, I can only speak for me. I don't know what other people look for. I don't know what they want. What I teach when I do teach is the most you can do is go in and be yourself. What annoys me as a director, or what annoys me even when I'm running casting sessions or helping to do some casting, are the people who try to do it a certain way because they may think that's the way we want them to do it. You know what I mean? And that's never the best way to approach a piece of copy. The best way to approach a piece of copy is, you know, like any acting, you see the clues within the script, and then you give them a piece of who you are, and all you can do is be who you are. And if we happen to like that, then we're going to give you money for the job.
It sounds so simple.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If, you know, say the client, you know, you sound like the client's brother-in-law and he doesn't like his brother-in-law, but you sound like that guy, he's going to go, yeah, I don't like that guy. He sounds like my brother-in-law. So, you know, you could be the best actor in the world and still not get the job.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad actor. It just means that, you know, they didn't hear your voice in their head. So, I mean, for me, I'm impressed with good acting. I will give somebody a second chance, and I will push them towards a client if I think that they're going to be the better actor, because from my end of it, if I am doing a casting job, I know that they're going to work faster in the booth and they're going to be easier to work with in the booth, which is going to save the client money because, you know, time is money in this business, and these studios cost a lot of money to rent. So if you can be an actor and go in and knock it out in 15 minutes as opposed to 45 minutes, they're probably going to want to hire you again because you're saving them money as well as giving them a good performance.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's I always wonder. It's like, what are these guys thinking? I never see these people. It's usually over headphones or something. And anyway,
I'm very different than everybody else out there. I'm very different. Just leave it at that.
well, let's get into that a little bit, because one of the things when we were talking at Disneyland, which always tends to make things kind of interesting. You were running your mojito sessions. Now, how exactly do you do what you do?
Well, the margaritas are kind of folklore at this point. I always believe. My entire career has been a good time. Yeah, I'm 52 years old. I've always had a good time doing this. And again, you know, commercials on camera, it became not a good time for me. It just wasn't fun to go to the auditions anymore. I had done hundreds of them, and I'd been on TV a lot, and that was all cool. But, you know, once I started directing films, I thought, wow, this is more fun. So I've always kind of pushed my career into how can we have a good time at making a living. And I've always tried to teach my own children that too, no matter what they do for a living. So, so when I started teaching classes, I had to take my nights and work at night and be away from my family, my kids and my wife, my lovely wife. So I thought, well, let's make this the best time we can possibly make this. If I have to do this for money, because my kids are going to college now, and so on and so forth. So I created a class. It's called Margaritas, Mojitos, and Microphones. And I have two guest directors come in, and they basically do all the work. They do all the directing, and the upcoming one we have this month is with Debbie Derryberry and Jamie Mortellero. He's a voiceover director, and she is, of course, Jimmy Neutron and several other cartoon characters out there. So they could, and what happens is the first hour is a cocktail hour because everybody's always late to a voiceover class, and it's a pain. So I give them an hour to get there. And, then you sit there and mingle with each other and the guest directors and whatnot. And then there's a 3-hour workshop where we split everybody into two studios for the first hour, and then we flip-flop them for the second hour. And then the third hour is just kind of catch as catch can or go out in the lobby and have a drink. And that's the key is we serve drinks during this whole time. And then the very last hour of the workshop is a 1-hour Q&A. Back in my improv studio room where we teach improv and scene study. And you can ask these people any question you want. I've had agents, I've had producers, I've had other actors, I've guys like Bob Bergen, Richard Horvitz, guys like that come in. And you can just ask them any questions you want. We actually had one of my most favorite ones was Maurice LaMarche and Rob Paulson came in. And I got to tell you, it was just one big party of those guys entertaining all of us. People barely did anything behind the microphones because they just wanted those guys to perform and stuff. And if you know Rob and Mo, you know that they'll perform at the drop of a hat.
Oh yeah. Oh, Diane Merritt, one of our fans in the chat room, she said she loved the Christmas Carol that you put together with the two of them.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you still get that recording?
You can. I produced a radio drama version of A Christmas Carol with a young kid named Shane Salk. He's the one who brought me the project. And it was really funny. I mean, the way this whole thing came about, this kid came up to me. Bob Bergen has a thing called Vox on the Rocks. It's a little cocktail party out here with voiceover. And I was at Vox on the Rocks, and this kid came up to me and said, "Hey, I hear you direct and produce. If I get some money together, will you do this radio drama of A Christmas Carol?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, go get the money." "Yeah, fine. Go get the money." People say things like that to you all the time out here in Hollywood. So, well, about 3 weeks later, this kid calls me up and he says, "I've got this much money collected. Can we start working on it?" And it was a substantial amount of money. And I thought, "Oh my God, we have to do this, I guess." Okay, sure, let's do it. And it was right at the time that I had Maurice and Rob in my margarita night. And I looked at him, I looked at Mo and Rob, and I said, "Hey, I got to do this Christmas Carol. Do you guys want to be Scrooge and Cratchit?"
Oh, jeez.
And they just went, "Yeah, as long as we work together." I'm like, "Yeah, great, let's do it." And that's how I cast it, And then I called in guys like Bob Bergen, who his schedule didn't permit, but he was one of my favorites that I wanted in. But I've got Neil Flynn. Neil plays the janitor from Scrubs, oh yeah. So a whole bunch of people, and then a lot. Some of my students actually, I gave them jobs doing it. I did a cameo appearance myself. And if you can figure out who I am, I'll send you $1.
Oh, can't beat that.
PayPal or cash?
I'll send you a shot. Figure out what character I am. But it was a party. I mean, it was just one of the most fun things I've ever done. And directing those guys was just such a pleasure. And not only that, though, my producing partner that I do films with, his name is Jojo Henriksen, and he is a Mexican actor out here and writer, director, editor. He's just a brilliant guy. And we do a lot of Latino projects too. And so we actually did A Christmas Carol, a Spanish version, a Spanish language version of it. Mm-hmm. It stars Ruben Garfias and Alex Fernandez and JoJo and a bunch of other Latino actors that I knew and work with, and they're just so incredibly talented. So you can get it at Amazon.com. You can go to Amazon.com, or you can go to my website, voiceoverdoctor.com, and just go to our little product page.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's got it in the chat room there too.
Somebody put up a link somewhere.
Better World Books and Amazon.com, and so I guess a lot of people have it.
The chat room is awesome.
I don't know where it is, but once I make it, I kind of forget about it. production. We won a Parents' Choice Award.
Oh, really?
Proud of, and we've actually sent it to the Grammys. So nothing will make me happier than when I'm on stage accepting a Latin Grammy.
I love it. That's so cool. Yeah. That kind of dovetails into the
Latin Grammys,
the fun you guys have. I mean, improv. Where does that come into voice acting? Is it an advantage? I mean, Suzanne Roberts asked, how important do you think improv is?
I personally think improv is the most important acting training you can have for any medium. I work with a guy out here in my studio. His name is Bill Applebaum. And if you go to my website, there's a link there, voiceoverdoctor.com. There's a link for Bill's classes here. I think he's one of the best improv teachers out there because he teaches. Here's the thing, though. You more want to learn. I mean, Second City and Upright Citizens Brigade and the Groundlings, all that stuff. That's all real good. But they're more teaching you improv for the sake of comedy writing and developing characters, things like Saturday Night Live.
Right.
Whereas Bill Applebaum teaches just a real solid improv class for acting. Viola Spolin has a book called, what is it, The Art of Improv or something like that. Improvisation for the Theater, I believe it's called. That has all these games. I mean, you could get 10 of your friends together in a living room with that book. It's kind of the Bible of improv. And just go through the book and do the games with each other. You could learn it that way. So it doesn't have to cost you hundreds of dollars to take acting classes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think improv is you really want to know it in order to compete with guys like Maurice LaMarche and Bob Bergen and women like Kath Soucie and Jennifer Hale and people like that. Over the years of directing all those people that I've done, they are just great actors. They just do great acting. And improv skills, especially within cartoons and commercials in advertising, are imperative. Because advertising is some of the worst writing you're ever going to come across in your life. It's awful stuff. I mean, people come to me in my class and they go, "I would never talk like this." And I always say, "I know you wouldn't, but if you can get me to believe you would, they'll give you lots of money." So, and I don't know what motivates most actors, but the money motivates me. I like getting paid a lot of money to do.
Pat's voice says, "What is the key to making a good margarita?"
Oh well. You don't need expensive tequila. You don't want to waste expensive tequila on a margarita. The key is to have a beautiful woman mixing it. And that always makes the margaritas go down just a little smoother.
Isn't that funny?
Thank you, dear.
Speaking of beautiful women.
I have a little talk show called the Voice Over Doctor Show on my website where I interview a lot of people kind of like what you guys are doing with me. And we actually have a margarita girl at every show. Maybe something you guys want to add a little spice to this show, just have a little margarita girl come out and serve you some margaritas. It's kind of fun.
I got to give Ella a few more years. She's 3, but we'll work up to it.
Yeah, I don't know that you want to get your dog.
Where would we put her? She'd be running back and forth between Buffalo and Santa Monica. It would be, and then we'd argue who gets her this week.
Virtual margarita girl. Come on, guys, come on, embrace the technology.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll have it virtual. Yeah, we'll have her animated.
Yeah.
Dan asked another good question. Like, how many years can you get out of a demo? I mean, you spend that money on that demo. And how long can you milk that thing?
Well, that's a very individual question. Yeah. I know there's a voice actress out here. Her name is Amber Hood, and she has one of those little kid voices. And I won't tell you her age because she'll kill me because she still sounds 14. But she's been using the same demo that I made her. I think I made it about 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She's been using the same demo because her agents keep saying to her, "Don't change it, don't change it, don't change it."
It's working for you, so.
Yeah, it's working. So I would say the main reason to change a demo is, one, it's not getting you any work. You may want to spice it up at some point. Or two, you know, a lot of people, especially, you know, for people who are just starting out, they make a demo and then they take all these classes for a year and a half, and then they're a lot better than what is on the demo. You know, that's a good reason to go make another demo, you know, but you really want to make sure that you know what you do well and you know the reason why you want to go make a new demo, because, you know, there are a lot of demo producers out there that if you come to them and say, do I need a new demo? They're going to go, yeah, of course you do.
Sure.
Because they make their living making demos, you know. I mean, it's like walking into JCPenney saying, does this look good on me? You know, and they yes, that looks great. You should buy it now, you know. And then you get home to your wife and, you know, you say, well, the girl at the store said I look great, you know, and of course you're wearing a tutu or something. You know?
I bought more than one cologne at a department store because of the beautiful woman behind the counter. It's like, you smell fantastic. And I go home and my girlfriend is like, what? My wife now is like, get that, throw that stuff out.
And really what she's saying is, boy, you just smell better than you did when you came in.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Oh, guys.
So Bill, so when do you do these? And, you know, I mean, obviously, if somebody wants to fly into Los Angeles for this, I'm sure you'll have no problem with that. And you probably have guests coming in all the time to play with you, right?
I do. You know, the margarita nights come as I have time for them. Again, you know, number one, I'm an actor. Number two, I'm a director, producer. And number three, I teach and I do demos and stuff. And so the margarita nights kind of go, you know, sometimes once a month, sometimes once every 3 months. The one I have coming up right now is going to be on July 27th, the one with Debbie Derryberry and Jamie Mortellaro. And that is actually almost filled up. I just put the email out 2 days ago, and there's only about 2 or 3 spots left. So I don't know that it's worth flying out for. I'd get on a plane right now, you know. But usually, like, you know, we just did the voice convention together, and when I do workshops out, you know, I'll go to different towns around the country and do some workshops. I usually, if people are interested, I'll throw together a little mini margarita night that night, you know, one of the nights that I do it if I have time for that too, because they're just fun to do, you know. So
really,
yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're the kind of guy that's like, if it ain't fun, why do it?
Yeah, very much, very much. I mean, you know, people come to me and they offer me hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars to learn the stuff that I teach, and to do demos. And I would say I probably turn down probably 40% of the money, because I just think sometimes people are doing it for the wrong reason. You know, I mean, if you're doing this to make a living and make extra money on the side, I think you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
The people who make a lot of money at this and the people who do this all the time are the people who need to do this. You must do this. And I mean, you know, I like to brag that I've been thrown out of some of the best acting schools in the country. And
well, it means you got into them too.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people kept telling me, you know, why don't you just get out of the business? And I kept thinking, I have no other skills. I can't get out of this. I have nothing else that I could do, so I kind of had to succeed at this. But that is the type of thing that you want to have within you. And you know, there are some people out there who are just awful. They're just awful. And they come to my classes sometimes. They're just terrible. And they look at me and they go, should I not do this? Because people tell me I'm awful. And I'll always say, well, are you having a good time? Are you doing it because you're having a good time? And they go, yeah, I love doing it. I'm like, well, keep doing it. You'll get good. You'll get good eventually. You know, some people it's going to take a month, but some people, it might take them 5 years before they get good at it, you know. But it's something, the guarantee that I give people when they take my classes is, if you do this all the time, you'll be very good at it. But you have to do it every day, because what the newcomers don't understand is, guys like me, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I do it every day. And Dan, you're probably the same, right? There's not a day that goes by that you're not in the booth reading something and doing something and learning more, and, oh, hey, I never saw this type of a thing before, and blah, 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 and this and that, you know? So that's why I say, if you do it all the time, you'll eventually get good at it, but you just got to love doing it. If you're doing it because you think it's a job that you can make money at, you probably won't.
The wrong reason.
Yeah, I mean, that's what my wife keeps saying. She says, well, you've got to make money at it, though. It's like, but I got to love it. It's what I am. It's who I am. It's what I'm about.
Yeah.
And when you do what you do, when you do what you do best, the money will be there anyway.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, as you get better, the money will come in. But if you go into an audition trying to get the job, you will not get the job. I see it all the time. And it's the people who, 9 times out of 10, it's the people who walk in, these guys who have been doing voiceovers for years, and they walk in and they throw the, script on the stand and they just kind of blah, 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 blah. And they just start to leave. And I go, do you want to hear that back? Nope, thanks. I gotta go to lunch. See ya. 9 times out of 10, those are the guys who booked the darn, I mean, all those guys that were plugging, your services there, Joe, Tom Kane, and all those voices and names that came up during your commercial. I directed most of them, and that's kind of how they do it, Yeah. Because they know what they do. They know what they do well because they've been doing it for so long, and they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, So, again, Rob and Maurice are the best examples. I don't know them well. I mean, I'm friends with them through the business and stuff. We don't really hang out and drink and stuff. But they, when they get in a room and they are together, in fact, if you go to my website, there's a bonus video of a couple of the margarita nights. I started videotaping the margarita nights so people could, if you can't afford to come and stuff, you can at least see what it's all about. Go watch the one with Maurice and Rob. They're just having the time of their life. But then when you hear them directing people, you see how seriously they take it. Right. And it's really, really educational. And all the stuff on my website's free. Just go watch it. It's such great information. And again, I've always wanted to have a talk show like you guys, so that's why I started doing it, because for me, it's just fun to have a talk show.
That's why we're doing it.
That's why we do it.
But what it does, though, is it gives people out there all this information, and they don't have to pay a dime for it if they don't want to. It's like PBS. If you want to contribute, great. If not, just here it is. Watch it and learn from it, Because and that's what I love about the voiceover community is everybody is so willing to help each other out all the time, I mean, I charge a lot of money for classes. I charge a lot of money for demos and stuff. But I also... I go to SAG and I teach for free. I go to the Don LaFontaine thing and I teach for free. I'm doing the conservatory next weekend. So I go to high schools and teach kids for time because it's just, it shouldn't always cost money. It's people out and we all got to make a living.
It's true.
Well, Dan finished his margarita, so I think it means we have to end this segment.
I think so. Bill, it's been a fabulous pleasure having you with us. I think we got to do this more often, George.
I'll be in Chicago August 11th, and I'm taking sign-ups for Chicago. So
Chicago.
You're in Chicago the weekend, August 11th. I hear it's very cool and crisp there right now.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks for guys.
Cheers.
Bill, thanks. Thanks for being with us.
All right, here we go.
All right. L'chaim. All righty. Well, we got a lot more still coming up. You thought Bill was great. It continues to be fantastic. So we'll be right back after this. So stay tuned.
Hey, my name is Bob Ball. I'm a voice actor and host of Pop Quizzical. Sure. I hear you thinking, Bob, what is this Pop Quizzical you speak of? Well, I'll tell you. It's a fun and funny, single-themed 10 to 15-minute audio quiz. It comes out every other week right here on the internets. You know, that thing that just about everything cool flows from. Pictures of cats, videos of dogs, and yes, Pop Quizzical. It's available on iTunes and wherever fine podcasts are sold. And it's easily found, too. Go to bit.ly/popquizzical. There's also a companion website at popquizzical.com with daily quiz questions, and every Friday over on the Pop Quizzical Facebook page, it's a Freebie Friday. Free stuff throughout the day. From The Muppet Show to James Bond to St. Patrick's Day, the Pop Quizzical podcast has a little bit of everything for you. Challenge your mind and your funny bone with Pop Quizzical.
Class dismissed.
This is East West Audio Body Shop with Dan Leonard in the East and George Whittam in the West. Now back to two characters that didn't have anything else better to do. Dan and George.
All right. Well, we do have things to do, but most of it has to do with all those calls and emails we get from you folks. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. But one of the things that's really important when you're a voice actor and you've got your home studio is having the best stuff and the easiest stuff to use, and not having to. I mean, how many choices, George? How many choices are there for microphones?
Oh, 374 last time I counted.
You actually counted?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to make it easy for yourself, there's one very easy place to go, and that's voiceoveressentials.com, because our buddy Harlan Hogan has everything you could possibly need.
Mm-hmm.
So now, why do you put the picture there? There we go. Okay. See, I'm talking. You're just staring into this thing, and anyway. But VoiceOver Essentials.
Don't distract yourself.
I can follow up on this anyway. You've got the VO1A, fabulous microphone. I know a lot of people using it. It really was designed for voiceover. You'll really love it.
How many guys got the sign? He had a deal on the sign over 4th of July.
I got mine.
I grabbed one.
Yeah,
I grabbed
one. And of course the Portabooth Plus, which is getting very good reviews. I really like it. You know, I've used it on the road, and people are like, should I use this? I'm like, well, of all the things you could have, this is probably the best. It certainly is the best made one out there, and he's using Auralex in it now, and it sounds really, really nice. But he's got all the other things that you could use, like the MicPort Pro and the MicMate, and of course the one we love, the Boom Strap Stop.
Oh yeah, that thing is genius. I mean, it's such a simple concept, but this thing really works. Yeah. I mean, it keeps your microphone stand from sagging.
Yeah.
I mean, it really works.
Yeah. I wonder if you can use it in something else. But it was brilliant design, and it was designed for that.
Right.
Go
Specifically
figure.
For that need. I mean,
that one special stuff.
Yeah. Niche. These are niche products that some are made for voiceover specifically. Others are just things that he's handpicked because he thinks these are the best tools for the job. And there's certain things that aren't even available on the website currently, like the Focusrite Red 7.
Right.
But if you've made it in voiceover, you're looking to spend money on something this year so you can write off something, this thing, the Focusrite Red 7, is one of the best mic preamps for voiceover ever. And he's got it on the website because he thinks this is one of the best tools for the job. So if he's got it on there, then chances are it's probably the best thing that you can get for that particular use. So I have to
agree. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Harlan. We appreciate you being our sponsor here on East West Audio Body Shop, and thanks for having VoiceOver Essentials. So go on over to voiceoveressentials.com.
You're the man, Harlan.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's get back to talking shop here, because that's why you guys come. Now, we got some, first off, we got a video we want to show you. Somebody actually sent in a video of their studio.
I believe so. Let me make sure it's in the Dropbox, because he said he sent it to us.
All right.
And I will grab it right now.
All right.
And I sure hope it's there, because he said he put it in there.
Well, let's make sure it's the right Dropbox.
Well, I said to send it to he said he sent it to my Dropbox, my personal Dropbox. So it should actually be there. But alas and alack, it is not. Maybe he's watching the show and he can
throw it in there.
Send it to us. But I will send you an audio sample and of that studio, because he hired me to check on his sound, and he was really concerned that the sound he was getting to the computer was as clean as possible. And I never know what I'm going to hear. Sometimes it's atrocious. Sometimes it's actually really quite good. And this was definitely one of those really quite good examples. I mean, he was working with a coach, and when he sent me his gear list, I had a lot of trepidation about what I was about to hear. He had the full arsenal of outboard gear. Most of it made by Behringer.
Oh, yeah. That's great if you're a band and you're like, at a rock concert in a park.
Yeah, so I was really concerned about the sound he was going to get. But then he sent me a sample of before and after, with and without processing, and it was much cleaner than I expected. But I'll send you I'll play the before processing or the unprocessed version first, because that really gives you the best impression of what his studio actually sounds like. And take a listen to this.
At Bank of the West, we encourage you to go west, unless you're driving right now and going east, or north, or south. If that's the case, keep going in that direction. Don't get off the highway or make an illegal U-turn, or do that thing they do in action movies where they just pull the e-brake in the middle of the road and slam it in reverse with no regard to the other cars around them, because that wouldn't be a good thing. No.
That sounds pretty good.
That's a Rode NT1000 going straight into a little Yamaha mixer. That there's no processing whatsoever on that.
Okay.
He also sent me the file that goes through the full chain. And this is one of those situations where he had a coach. The coach dialed it all in for him. He never ever touched a thing. And well, tell me what you think of this sound, and I'll play a little bit of that one, the processed one.
At Bank of the West, we encourage you to go west, unless you're driving right now and going east, or north, or south. If that's the case, keep going in that direction. Don't get off the highway or make an illegal U-turn, or do that thing they do in action movies where they just pull the e-brake in the middle of the road and slam it in reverse with no regard to the other cars around them, because that wouldn't be a good thing. No, when we say we want you to go west, we mean embrace the ideals of Western living. Be open.
So that's processed.
Yeah. And now, perfect example of the fine audio quality we have on this show. That people listening in could actually hear the difference there.
Yeah.
And was it different? Yes. Was it better?
That's a matter of opinion.
That's a matter of opinion. I mean, it was clearly brighter. It was clearly louder.
Right.
But do you need to do that with all that front end stuff?
Right.
And everything's going to sound the same every time. Otherwise, you're going to have to make all those adjustments and guess at the beginning.
Right. Exactly. I told him that, this probably makes many of his clients happy.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I haven't really had complaints. And I was like, that's going to make some of your clients happy. There's others out there who are wondering, why is it this or why is it that? Maybe it's too compressed. Maybe it's too bright. And the problem is like I said, somebody said, this is the gear to get, and told him exactly what knobs to turn. And he literally,
right.
I mean, he did everything but glue them in place. So he's really locked into one sound. I mean, that is it. That's his sound. And for some people, that's going to work. But for other people, you really need to have more flexibility. And if you're relying on a series of outboard gear to do it, a compressor, gate, an exciter, or whatever it is, to get the sound you need, you're really like handcuffed to that gear, and you have to really understand the nuances of every setting on there. And if you're doing it in post, then you can have someone else help you set things for you and make presets, and that's what we ended up doing for him. And I made a version of this, the processed version that you heard, just not quite as forward, not quite as hyped on the top end, and sort of a compromise between the two.
A little bit more neutral on some of those things.
Yeah. But if I get the video clip, I will throw it up on the website and the blog right below our show, so you guys can see it. Because he did send it to me, he thought, but here it is. I don't have it. So things happen. But we'll make sure you guys can see it. It's just a nice garage conversion with a huge array of acoustical panels, ATS acoustics panels, and I thought it sounded pretty nice. It does. You can tell he's not in a closet.
Right.
It doesn't have that really tight, boxy sound. It just has that more open, natural sound.
Right. Okay. Well, we also got a letter this week from somebody.
Yeah,
well,
we
get lots of letters. But
we get lots and lots. Oh, wait,
lots of letters.
I don't want to sing too much of that. I'll get a copyright violation from YouTube.
We only get that every week.
God. Anyway, who did that come from? Oh, Judy Fossum. Let me read a little bit of that. Dan and George, happy 4th of July. Hope this email finds you well and enjoying the day with the friends and family. I wanted to say thank you for the informative and not to mention entertaining presentation the two of you guys gave at Voice 2012. What a kick. You guys have a knack for making what could be a rather dry topic. Tell me about it. and about audio processing and make it fun and enjoyable. There's so much to learn about all this techie stuff, and it is changing so rapidly. It's very important to stay on top of the stuff. Thank you also for the work you're doing with the World Voices organization, and thank you for your LinkedIn invitation. Having specific criteria, performance, recording, audio quality, and so on for voice actors to meet, I believe is so important in order to keep quality in the voiceover industry very high, which will in turn bring better products to the client. So thank you again. And thanks for writing in, Judy.
Yeah, and thank you for reading that, Bill O'Reilly.
Oh my God, he just told me Bill O'Reilly. Like, oh my God.
Yes, well, and see, we're switching roles. I'm driving a Prius, and now you're Bill O'Reilly.
That's
it's
right.
Perfect. It's now we can switch coasts. It'll be perfect. Anyway, all right. So yes, thank you very much, Drew. We greatly appreciate it. And Voice 2012 was a lot of fun, and also with Wovo, if you're wondering, we're working on this. People are like, well, are you gonna have this thing going?
Yeah, you gonna do it or not?
Well, we are.
Everybody's
doing
in a
it.
hurry.
Everybody, be patient, because perfection takes time. We are not just going to haphazardly put together an industry association and just throw it out there and say, yeah, give us your money, that sort of thing.
No.
This is going to be a professional organization. We want it to be seamless, automated. We want to be able to respond to our membership very, very rapidly. And in order to do that, we're working the technology together, and so it will be a wonderful experience for you, and it will provide major benefit to all our members. So stay tuned for that. It might take a little bit of time. If any of you have ever put together a website, and all the programming that has to go into that, that's if there's, I won't call it a delay. It's part of our plan to make sure that this works the way we want it to work. So it'll be an organization you'll be proud to be a member of. And what else? Oh, also we also have some sad news, but we're working on something to help out, are we not?
Yeah, we are. There was a story posted on the Voice Over Xtra, and here's a link to it, you guys. I'll post it in the notes for you guys to see. But in memory of Sandra Swingler, Andrew Swingler's wife passed away recently, and it was a really intense and very fast bout with a extremely rare case of cancer. And they're looking for ways to help out the family. So go to voiceoverxtra.com. I'm gonna put the link in the show notes because it's too hard to read the whole thing. I've just posted in the chat room. But if you haven't seen that yet, go take a look and see how you can kind of help out the family and send a little support to Andrew. Andrew is one of us. He's a voiceover actor in the community.
Yeah, and we see him here in the chat room, and we're very sorry for his loss, and we want to make sure we can help out with that.
Absolutely.
But yes, now I hear that Tim Phelan actually was able to get it into your Dropbox.
That's what he said. I'm looking for it. I'm going to my Dropboxes because I've got one Dropbox, but I got many folders. And he said he put it in the EWABS Dropbox, which I'm not sure. I've got so many files in my Dropbox. It's like overflowing the files, and for whatever reason, I don't see the file. So if you can put a link to it right in the chat room, then put a link to the Dropbox file in the chat room. Will you, Tim? Sorry. I don't know. I'm just being a little bit slow tonight. I don't know why I can't find your file, but we'll put it on. I promise.
Yeah, we'll definitely have it on the site. You guys are there all the time anyway.
Yeah. Most of the people watch the show in replay anyway, so everybody will see it.
Yeah, and you'll just edit it right in there.
I'll slide it in.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think that's going to bring this again to an end with a whimper instead of a bang, as T.S. Eliot once wrote. But again, if you've got any questions for us, you can write to us at ewabshop@gmail.com. See, 55 episodes. I finally have memorized the email address.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's what happens with age. And of course we're still working on this correspondent contest we want to have. We're going to come up with some more better particulars for that, because we want you to submit your videos and we'll put them on here and we'll see who can be correspondents for us and see what voiceover things are like in your particular town or city or burg or island.
Speaking of which,
yes.
Is anybody going to Comic-Con this week? Isn't it this coming week in San Diego?
So. Yeah.
It's in San Diego every year, so I'm assuming it's there this year. So here's an assignment. If anybody is going to Comic-Con, bring your flip cam, your iPhone, whatever you got, and shoot some just snippets of some of the craziness going on down there. And then if you do see some of the panels with the animation voiceover actors, grab a little bit of something from that and send it our way. We'd appreciate it. I wish I could get down there for it. It's just one too many things for me to do this week, and I can't get down there.
Yes. Well, you've got so many studios to take care of.
You've been challenged, everybody.
Yes. We want this to be participatory. I mean, it's great having you in the chat room and everything, but you guys you're all talented people. We're actors, we're voice actors. You can do video. It's not that hard. I mean, just grab your iPhone. Like you could look at what George was able to do with Voice 2012 with an iPad with an iPod.
Yeah, just an iPod Touch. That's all that was.
I was watching that. It was actually pretty good.
Thank you.
It was fun doing it, but it was amazing the quality that we got out of that.
It is amazing what you can get out of the right tools and lighting. Never forget how important lighting is.
It is. And now, of course, I got the overhead light on tonight, so if anybody's been blinded by this chrome dome, what are you going to do? Actually, it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah,
all right. Yes. Now, who is our guest next week? I believe, let's see, next week is the 14th?
I think it's the 15th. The 14th is a Saturday.
Oh, okay. Well, then it must be the 15th.
Yeah.
Who do we have on for next week?
I believe it's Bob Ball.
Bob Ball from Pop Quizzical. So we'll find out a little bit more about Pop Quizzical and some of the stuff. And he's a voice actor too, and we'll have a fun conversation with him. And of course, your questions, solve your problems. If you need help, you can contact one of us, of course, not only through our EWABS Facebook page. You can contact me at homestudiomaster@verizon.net. And of course, George, we can reach you at vostudiotech.com or ersvo.com. Excellent. So we're here to help. Amazing the things that we run into. The problems we solve, and the thrill and the satisfaction of taking somebody sounding like this to sounding like this.
Exactly. We love doing it. We love doing it.
We do. Anyway, and we love you guys for showing up every week here on our show. So anyway, I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. Have yourselves a great week. We'll see you next Sunday night.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.